Cool. So, can you tell us what happened on May 13th?
Well, the first thing that people need to know about May 13th is that it did not happen because of any complaints from neighbors. I'm not saying neighbors may not have had complaints about us, but there's not one neighborhood in this country where some neighbors don't have complaints about other neighbors. What happened in May of 1985 happened because this government wanted to silence our unrelenting righteous protest over the ongoing imprisonment of our innocent family members. So what happened is people talk about May 13th, which was a Monday, but everything really started on Mother's Day, May 12th, Sunday, 1985. That's when the police began to amass out there on Osage Avenue and encouraged people to leave their homes, told them that they should go out to dinner or whatever, and they could come back that evening after everything was over. And they set up high-powered equipment, weaponry. 50 caliber machine guns, M60 automatic rifles, sniper rifles with silencers, their 38 caliber weapons, all manner of weaponry of war. And when they felt like they had everything set up by the evening, by that night, then Police Commissioner Gregory Sambor came out and said, "Attention, move, this is America. You have to abide by the laws and rules of society, of American society," words to that effect. I'm still trying to figure out, I guess, what he meant by that. Because to say, "Attention, move, this is America," what's he talking about? Does he know what his children and grandchildren are taught that America was founded on? Resistance. They're taught that this country was founded by people who went to war with cops called redcoats, with the government of England, King George at the time. What is he talking about? They defied legality and went to war for what they believed was right. And they're celebrated every year as heroes, as freedom fighters. What makes a Nathan Hale a freedom fighter and makes a Delbert Africa, a Leonard Peltier, any other freedom fighter today, a urban terrorist? What? So this is what Police Commissioner Gregory Sambor said. I did not hear it at the time. I can't say for sure if anyone else heard him because they were killed. But we would not have come out had we heard him. I would not have come out had I heard him, because it was very clear he was not out there to arrest any MOVE person. He was out there to kill, to exterminate, eliminate. We could have been arrested at any time. We walked the streets by ourselves. We took our kids over to the park right across the street regularly. We walked from one MOVE house to another all the time. They had us under surveillance. They were always right around there. They could have arrested us at any time if that's all they were trying to do, but they weren't. Their aim was to kill. Wilson Goode, then Mayor Wilson Goode, first black mayor of Philadelphia, he said he wanted a permanent end to MOVE. That's what the words that came out of his mouth. And that's what May 13th was all about. After they made that announcement, after Gregory Sambor made that announcement, they didn't just try to wait us out or anything. What was the hurry? What made this so, immediate? Were we accused of killing anybody, robbing, raping anybody, molesting children, pushing drugs on children? None of that. None of that. The charges against us were disorderly conduct, terroristic threats, stuff like that. I mean, no rape, robbery, murder, anything like that. So they set up their equipment, made their announcement, and when we did not come out, the first thing they did was use the fire department. Fire departments, firefighters are sworn to save lives, to protect lives. In May of '85, they used their equipment to attack lives. They turned those deluge hoses on our home, on us, for hours when there was no fire. After the water hoses were on us for hours, then the police department filled our home with tear gas. They filled it with tear gas. That did not bring us out. Then they opened fire on, no. First, they blew holes in the party walls, like Osage Avenue has row houses all attached. They blew holes in the walls on each side of our house. Then they threw tear gas in, tons of tear gas. Then they opened fire. They shot over 10,000 rounds of bullets in on us within 90 minutes. That did not bring us out. There was a law. That's when they sent for the police helicopter. They did not have to send for the explosives, the C4 and the Tovex. They did not have to send for that. They already had it there. They concocted the bomb, 2 bombs, not one. They wanted a backup bomb. And they got in a helicopter, 2 members of the Philadelphia Police Bomb Squad and 2 state police, cops. Got in a helicopter, flew up over our home with no warning, no announcement or anything, and just flew over our home and dropped that bomb on the roof of our home. It ignited a fire. They were aware that it was a fire from the very beginning. They saw the smoke coming out. They were made aware of it. They made a conscious decision not to put the fire out. The fire commissioner, William Richmond, said himself that it was what you called an incipient fire in the very beginning stages, and it could have been extinguished at that point with no trouble. They made a decision to let it burn. They let it burn out of control. When we realized our home was on fire, we immediately tried to get our children, our animals, ourselves out of that blazing inferno. We didn't know it was a fire at first. They did. And I cannot think of another example where firefighters know that there's a fire, know that there are men, women, babies, and animals inside the dwelling, and make a conscious decision to let it burn. That is unconscionable and makes it very clear that their intent was to kill, not to arrest. Anyway, we made several attempts to get out of that building. We were immediately met with a barrage of police gunfire, directly aimed, deliberately aimed at us to try to prevent anybody from escaping. The 3rd or 4th time that, I attempted to come out, I was able to get out, although bullets were flying all around me. I was able to get a little boy, Birdie Africa, out, and he later described the bullets that were flying all around us, so it's not something I'm making up. We were both first taken to the hospital, then I was taken to the police station and charged with everything that they did. I went on trial, And what people need to understand, every single charge without fail listed in the warrants that they came out there with claiming to be attempting to arrest us on, they were all dismissed as invalid, having no foundation, meaning they had no valid reason to be out there. But they charged me with everything that they did, everything that happened after they came out there. Now, if they didn't have a valid reason for being out there, then everything coming from that was invalid. I mean, that's common sense. But they were not about to have me back out on the street, and they have to take responsibility for what they did, the murder of babies, you know? So I went to trial. I was acquitted of most of the charges. The other charges, I was found guilty of riot and conspiracy. Now, how I rioted in my own house when we're surrounded by hundreds of cops armed for war trying to kill us, you know, how I conspired with my own family in our house. We didn't go to Wilson Good's house. We didn't go to any cop's house or firefighter's house. They came out to our house, attacking us, you know. But I conspired. I was convicted and sentenced to 16 months to 7 years in jail. When my 16-month minimum was up, I was told by the parole board that they were willing to parole me, but only if I agreed to sever all ties with MOVE and have absolutely no contact with any MOVE member. They told my other sisters and brothers that same thing who became eligible for parole. Not one of us would accept that. Not at all. It wasn't even a thought to accept that. So some of us did our maximum sentences. I did my whole 7 years. My sister Alberta and my brother Mo Africa did their full time, 7 years and 5 years respectively. My sister Sue Africa, one of our white members, did 12 years, her full 12-year sentence. We did our full sentences. Two of my family members, because we would not compromise, you know, and give in, we kept the pressure on the parole board. They were forced, pressured to parole two of our family members without that stipulation. And now the rest of the MOVE 9, two of my family members have died in prison, two of the MOVE 9, but the rest of them are still serving their sentences, even though they're like 7 years over their minimum, and the parole board keeps refusing to parole them, saying that they refuse to accept responsibility for the crimes of August 8th of 78. My family is saying, we did not commit any crimes, you know, and we're not going to lie and say we did. But the parole board keeps saying that they won't take responsibility for their crimes and they show no remorse. How are you supposed to show remorse for something you didn't do, you know? So that is our focal point right now, you know, focusing on getting them home, getting them out of prison. And we just went, me and my sister Alberta, just went to Geneva, Switzerland, to the UN to advocate for our family, to put out information. We weren't so concerned about meeting all of the delegates from the different countries because we have no faith in that process. We went there and we focused our energy on talking to the people. We talked to people from Kuwait, Pakistan, Morocco, South Africa, just all over. We spoke at 2 open forums. So we got to put out a lot of information and raise awareness about our family. This year marks 30 years since the bombing. And what we really want people to understand is that we were not bombed because neighbors complained about us. We were bombed. This government wants to annihilate, move, to silence our unrelenting protests for the release of our innocent family members. That's what people should really understand. We encourage people to come to Philadelphia and join us on May 13th of 1985. You can go to our website, www.onthemove.com, to get more information about it, to get our phone number, email address, so that you can contact us, if people want to. We usually tell people, we have told people over the past 30 years, do something where you're at if you cannot get to Philadelphia. This year, we started back in October. We told people, come to Philadelphia. You have plenty of time between October and May to raise funds, do what you need to do to come to Philadelphia. We want Philadelphia to feel the heat from what they did in '85. We want Philadelphia officials to understand that people have not forgotten, people don't agree, and people will never forget what happened in May of 1985. It will mar the city of Philadelphia forever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Okay, so we're going to stay for a little bit of the program and
Okay.
film some of that. And